If you want to know more about the dangers of emotional attachment, read about Anakin Skywalker's fall from the gripping saga of Star Wars or the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Imagine loving someone so much that you'd risk everything, even your life, to keep them. This is the story of Anakin Skywalker, who turned to the dark side to save his beloved Adme. But what happens when our worst fears come true? What happens when the very thing we hold on to slips through our fingers? Many people share Anakin's fear of losing the people or things they love, and we often go to great lengths to keep them in our lives. This isn't just a story from a galaxy far, far away. It's a deep human problem that echoes through the teachings of Stoicism. Today we'll explore the teachings of Stoicism and look at how its principles can be used as step-by-step instructions for detaching from others. Step number 1. Step away from that person for a while. Creating distance is sometimes the best thing to do, not to empty yourself, but to gain clarity. Imagine you're at a lively party where people are talking and the music is loud. It's hard to understand a friend's whispering, right? That's how it feels when we're too close to someone or something. Our emotions, like the party noise, block out clarity. Moving back is like leaving a party and going to a place with less noise where you can hear and think clearly. Special with his deep insight once said, "As often as you sojourn, return to yourself." This isn't just about physical space. It's also about mental and emotional space. When our emotions cloud our vision, taking a step back helps us see them clearly, like watching clouds move across the sky and knowing they're not part of us. This detachment isn't coldness. It's a way to see the situation and our reactions to it objectively. It's about seeing the chessboard, not just the piece you're holding. It could be as easy as turning off your phone for an hour, going for a walk, or just sitting quietly in a room. The point is to find a place where the constant buzz of life doesn't drown out your thoughts. It's in these quiet moments that we find the strength to make decisions based on reasoned thought and inner wisdom instead of our feelings. This step back gives you the power to move, give yourself room to breathe, and see past the fog of the present. Taking a break for a while can be helpful if you're feeling stressed or having a disagreement with someone. Taking a break can give you time to think, get a new viewpoint, and come back to the situation with a more open mind. You can do the following. Talk to them. If you can, let them know that you need some time and space. Tell them that it's not about them, but about giving yourself time to think and feel better. Set clear boundaries. Make it clear how long you'll be away and what kind of touch, if any, you're okay with during that time. Focus on self-care. This is the time to put your own health first. Do things that help you calm down, recover, and see things in a new light. This could mean doing things like working out, spending time with friends or family who are there for you, practicing awareness or meditation, or doing things you enjoy. Think. Use this time to think about what happened that made you decide to step away. Think about how you feel, what you need, and any compromises or answers that might make things better in the long run. Get help. If you're having trouble with your feelings or need advice, don't be afraid to ask a trusted friend, family member, or doctor for help. Plan for reconciliation. While you're away, think about how you can handle things differently when you get back together. Think about what you've learned and how you can talk to each other better to clear up any confusion or disagreements. Don't forget that taking a break doesn't mean you're giving up on the person or the relationship. It's about taking care of yourself and making room for a healthy, constructive way to deal with the problem. Step number 2. consider the rationality of distancing yourself. Choosing to stay away from someone isn't something you do quickly, it's something you think about, which is in line with the values of Stoicism, which emphasizes reason and morality. Think of your life as a boat ride, and the people in it as the winds and currents. Some things to help you sail smooth. Others may steer you into rough waters, but it's up to you as the captain to choose which winds to use and which storms to stay away from. This isn't about avoiding trouble, it's about guiding your life in a way that fits your values and well-being. Epictetus was a Stoic who changed his life. From slavery to wisdom, often stressed how important it is to choose friends and relationships that are in line with our inner freedom. His life teaches us a useful lesson. Not everyone who comes into our lives brings light, dark spots that can make us look less bright. If you look at your relationships like mirrors, what do they show you? Happiness, growth, and understanding, or doubt, pain, and dismay? It's not an act of abandonment to choose to separate yourself. It's a choice to protect yourself and your morals. Stoicism isn't about cold logic, it's about warm knowledge. It asks us to think about whether this person makes my life better like a melody or worse like a discordant note. As you think about this, remember what Epictetus said. What bothers us is not what happens to us, but what we think about it. It's not just the person, but how you see their role in your life. Are they a part of your story that helps you grow, or are they a detail that takes your attention away from your journey? At the end of the day, deciding to distance yourself is about living a life you're proud of. It's about staying true to your ideals and your journey. Stoicism teaches us to hold on to relationships that make our stories better and let go of those that don't. It's about making a life where each person and event is a thoughtful addition to the tapestry of your life. There are different ways to look at the idea of separating yourself, each based on personal, social, and situational factors. Here is a reasonable analysis. Self-preservation. Staying away from certain people or events is sometimes a smart way to protect yourself. This could be because of unhealthy relationships, bad environments, or events that put one's health at risk. It makes sense to be aware of these risks and take steps to protect yourself. Health of the emotions. Being emotionally healthy is important for your general health and productivity. When trying to protect your mental and emotional health, it can make sense to stay away from things, people, or situations that are bad for you. It makes it possible to put happiness and personal growth first. Resolution of conflicts. Sometimes briefly separating yourself from someone can be a smart way to calm down a conflict or tension. In this way, feelings can calm down, points of view can be rethought, and a more helpful way to solve the problem can be discovered. Limits. Setting and sticking to personal limits is important for keeping relationships healthy. It can make sense to keep your distance when those limits are crossed in order to protect your self-respect, dignity, and independence. It tells people how important it is to treat each other with care and makes it clear what is expected in the future. Productivity and focus. Getting away from things that distract you or places that aren't good for work can help you focus and get more done. In this case, being rational means figuring out what is getting in the way of your progress or goals, and then taking steps to make things easier for yourself to succeed. Perspective and reflection. Stepping back from a situation or relationship can help you see things in a new light and think about what you believe. One can re-evaluate their goals, look at the dynamics at play, and make better decisions about what to do next. This logical method helps people grow and think about themselves. Social dynamics. Social distance, which can be seen in situations like preventing disease, can also be a sensible response to outside forces. It can be smart to physically separate yourself from other people when there are health risks present in order to stop the spread of sickness and protect your own and others' health. In general, whether or not it makes sense to distance yourself relies on the specifics of the situation and your goals. It means carefully weighing the risks, benefits, and outcomes with the end goal of enhancing happiness, growth, and balance in one's life. Step number 3. Have a chat with someone you can rely on. There are times when the world seems like a jigsaw puzzle and you're having a hard time putting the pieces together. The champion's inner strength knows how important it is to connect with others. Talking to someone you trust is like finding an anchor in rough seas. It's not about dumping our problems on them. It's about getting clarity and perspective. Think of it as having a co-navigator on the journey of life, someone who helps you figure out where you're going when your own compass isn't working quite right. Sebastian Jung, who knew a lot about people, said that shared wisdom is like a mirror reflecting back not only our image but also our inner self. This self-reflection isn't just about getting a better picture of ourselves, it's also about figuring out our way. When you open up to someone, you're not just talking, you're letting them into your inner world, giving them a glimpse of your feelings and thoughts. Sharing makes a place where people can understand and help each other, where insights are shared instead of just sympathy. Pick someone to confide in carefully, someone who lives by the values you want to live by. This person will be your sounding board, helping you work through your feelings and thoughts. They don't have to solve your problems. Sometimes just listening is enough. Their presence will remind you that you're not alone on this journey, and as you share your thoughts, you might learn something from their responses. Little truths that change the way you see things. Stoicism teaches us that the best way to deal with life's problems is to keep a calm mind and reach out to others for help. Your chosen confidant is part of this community, which shows that strength often comes from working together. Remember that cutting ties with a person or situation doesn't mean cutting ties with all human connections. In fact, it's these connections that give you the strength and perspective you need to navigate life's complicated tapestry. Talking to this trusted person is more than just a chat. It's a way to understand the pathways to clarity and a way to stay anchored in the ever-changing seas of life. Step number 4. Establish limits for your feelings. Controlling our feelings is like being the captain of a ship going through a storm. The waves of our feelings are strong and can be too much to handle. Stoicism doesn't teach us to avoid these waves. It teaches us how to ride them with skill and wisdom. It's about knowing when to let the waves carry us and when to firmly steer our ship. Feelings are normal, but if we don't set limits, they can take us off the path we've chosen. The trick is to ride these waves without letting them flip our boat over. Epictetus, who had a deep knowledge of the human soul, tells us that things don't bother us. It's how we see them that does. Setting mental limits requires this point of view. It's like having a gatekeeper in our minds who lets all of our feelings in, but doesn't let any of them take over the house, which is our inner peace. For example, when anger comes knocking, we let it in and try to figure out what caused it, but we don't let it sit down and tell us what to do. It's about talking to our feelings, figuring out where they belong, and gently leading them to a place where they don't get in the way of our reason. Setting limits in real life could mean giving yourself a certain amount of time to feel a certain way, like, I'll let myself feel upset about this for the next hour, and then I'll focus on solutions. It's not about denying feelings but managing their power. It's like a tightrope walker who knows the height but focuses on the rope. By doing this, we honor our feelings without making them our slaves. We feel like we understand, and then we gently release them. The goal of this process is not to repress, but to balance. It's like adding just the right amount of sugar to your tea, enough to taste, but not so much that it's too much, that it overwhelms. Setting limits for your emotions can be a good way to keep your mental health and balance. To help you set limits for your thoughts, here are some ideas. Figure out your triggers. Write down the people, places, or events that always make you feel very strongly. Once you know what these triggers are, you can take steps to lessen their effects or avoid them if you need to. Know your threshold. Pay attention to your emotional threshold, which is the point at which your feelings get too strong or hard to handle. You can avoid emotional overload by taking the right steps when you know you're hitting your limit. Self-awareness. Practice being mindful and aware of yourself to learn more about your feelings and how they show up in different scenarios. Regularly thinking about yourself can help you see patterns and trends in how you react emotionally. Set boundaries. Make it clear to yourself and others what is and isn't okay when it comes to how you act and show your emotions. To protect your emotional health, be clear about these limits and stick to them when you need to. Develop coping strategies. To deal with tough feelings when they come up, make a list of healthy ways to deal with them. This could include things like deep breathing, mindfulness meditation, working out, or getting help from friends or a doctor. Practice self-compassion, which means being kind and patient with yourself when you're feeling bad. Realize that it's okay to have different feelings and be kind to yourself the way you would a friend going through the same thing. Get help. If you're having trouble controlling your emotions or setting healthy limits, don't be afraid to ask for help from trusted friends, family, or mental health experts. Keep an eye on your inner dialogue. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself, especially when you're feeling very emotional. To build mental strength and resilience, change the negative things you say to yourself into more positive and affirming things. By using these techniques, you can set healthy limits for your emotions and improve your emotional health and strength. Step number 5. Carefully think about what might happen if you try to distance yourself. Take a moment to look down each path when you stand at the crossroads of detachment. Stoicism isn't about making snap choices. It requires careful thought. Picture each road as a possible future, with a different result at each turn. What lies ahead on the road of distance? Will it bring peace, growth, and a stronger sense of self, or will it lead to regret and missed chances? Foresight isn't about being able to say for sure what will happen in the future. It's about being able to plan for it with knowledge. Marcus Aurelius, who was in charge of an empire, once said, "Look back at the past and see how empires rose and fell, and you can see what will happen in the future too." Follow the Stoic habit of thinking about the past to help you make decisions about the future. Think about the times you've put yourself apart in the past and what happened. Did the room bring you clarity and peace, or did it make you feel alone and full of regret? Use these reflections as a way to learn from the past and prepare for the future. Finally, think about how your choice will affect other people. Stoicism teaches us to balance our own wants with the greater good. When you detach, ask yourself, are you growing and making the lives of others better, or are you possibly hurting or confusing them? This step isn't just about you. It's about balancing your health with the health of the world around you. It's like being aware of your yard footsteps and making sure they encourage growth instead of trampling on the flowers. Stoics believe that detachment is a wise action, a choice that takes into account not only the self, but also the web of relationships in which we all live. Putting yourself apart can have different effects based on the situation and the people you're with. Here are some possible results to think about. The emotional effects of pulling away from someone could make them feel hurt, rejected, or sad. especially if they value the connection. In the same way, putting space between yourself and others could make you feel lonely or guilty. Communication breakdown. Being far apart can make it hard to talk to each other, which can make it hard to solve problems or settle disagreements in the relationship. When people don't talk to each other as much, they may misunderstand each other more often. Changes in dynamics. Being far apart can change how a relationship works. For instance, if one person mentally or physically pulls away, it could lead to an imbalance of power or a loss of closeness. Loss of connection. If you stay away from someone for a long time, you might lose touch with them over time. This could mean growing apart, losing touch, or ending the friendship for good. Effects on other relationships. If you're pulling away from someone in a larger community or social circle, it could change how you connect with friends or acquaintances you both have. They might not know whether to stay friends with both people or pick a side. Personal growth. On the plus side, stepping back can give you a chance to think about yourself and grow. You can focus on your own wants, goals, and health without other people getting in the way. Reconciliation or estrangement. Depending on the situation, pulling away can either lead to getting back together and a better relationship in the long run, or it can lead to estrangement and a permanent split. It's important to carefully think about these possible outcomes and, if you can, talk to the person you're separating yourself from in an open and honest way. Clear conversation can help avoid misunderstandings and keep the bad effects to a minimum for everyone. Step number 6. Give yourself a break from social media. Imagine your mind as a calm lake and social media as raindrops that are always disturbing the surface. These droplets are the constant updates, messages and comparisons that get into our peace. Stoicism, a way of life that did well before technology. Timeless advice on how to deal with these kinds of problems. Who thought about, he once rightly said, life is long if you know how to use it. People who write about life's shortness probably see social media as one of the many pointless distractions of modern life. So this step of detachment is about taking back our time and attention and deciding where to put our valuable energy in the world of social media. Everyone wants our attention. When we take a step back, we're not only avoiding a digital flood, we're also giving our thoughts a chance to breathe, think, and be. It's like closing the curtains on a busy street outside your window. The noise, the crowds, and the steady movement. It's still there, but for now it doesn't bother you, because you're in your quiet room where you can think, understand, and grow. This break from social media isn't an escape. It's a way to take care of myself. It's about figuring out what makes us happy and what makes us sad. As you take this break, notice how your mind has changed. Do you feel calmer, more present, and more aware of your own thoughts and feelings? Understanding what we can control and letting go of what we can't is at the heart of Stoicism. For example, we can't stop it raining, but we can choose to stand under a cover and enjoy the sound of the drops without getting wet. These days, taking a break from social media might feel like getting off a fast-moving train. It's still, but in this, as you start to use social media, there is stillness and focus. Time off. Remember what Seneca said and make good use of this time. Do things that are good for your mind, like reading a book, going for a walk, writing in a journal, etc. That's right. This break is your chance to get back in touch with yourself. It's your chance to remember who you are in the peace and quiet of the break room. It may be good for your mental health and general health to take a break from social media. To help you disconnect, here are some steps. Put limits on. Pick a set time to stop using social media. It might be a day, a week, or even longer. Tell your fans and friends that you'll be taking a break from social media. This will help people know what to expect and calm their worries about your quick absence. Turn off alerts. If you don't want to check your social media apps all the time, turn off their notifications. Delete apps. To make it harder to use social media apps without thinking, you might want to delete them briefly from your phone or other device. Find other things to do. Do something you enjoy or that helps you relax instead of spending time on social media. For example, read, work out, or spend time with people you care about. Think about how you feel. While you're away from social media, pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to any changes in your mood, stress, or health in general. Mindfulness means focusing on the present moment and the things going on around you without being distracted by social media. Make plans. While you're away from social media, make plans for yourself or work on projects that are important to you. Try to get help. If it's hard for you to stay away from social media, ask friends or family for support and guidance. Look at the effect. Think about how your time away from social media changed you afterward. Did you feel less stressed? Were you able to pay more attention? With this knowledge, you should be able to make smart choices about how to use social media in the future. Do not forget that you do not have to stop using social media for good. It's okay to take a break from time to time to recover and put your mental health first. Step number 7. Focus on fundamental needs. This will help people know what to expect and calm their worries about your quick absence. Pay attention to the core of your being as you take this last step on the road of detachment. Focusing on what really matters for your inner growth and well-being is what Stoicism is all about. It's about getting rid of the noise and fluff that isn't important and focusing on what feeds your soul. This isn't about getting things. It's about a lot more than that. It's about mental support, morality, and personal growth. Imagine your life as a garden. What does it need to grow well? Sunlight and water care. These are the important things. In the same way, figure out what's important for your spiritual and emotional progress and work on nurturing those areas. Epicurus, who was born into poverty, knew how important it was to focus on what really counts. His teachings show us how to separate the good things in life from the bad. Wealth is not having lots of things, but having few wants. Use this knowledge to improve your mental state. It's about knowing what you need to feel happy, stable, and at peace. In a world full of choices and distractions, it means realizing that sometimes less is more. It's about finding happiness in both simplicity and depth. In real life, this means taking some time to think about what really makes you happy and at peace. Having quiet time by yourself, having deep talks with friends, or doing a hobby are all examples of core needs that should be identified and put first. It's like packing for a trip. Only bring the things that are necessary and will make the trip more enjoyable. As you center your life around your basic needs, this deliberate focus helps you let go of people and events that aren't in line with them. You lay the groundwork for security and happiness. This isn't a one-time thing to do. It's an ongoing process of constantly returning to what really matters as you go through life. Keep going back to your basic needs and adjusting and realigning them as you grow and change. This focus is your compass, guiding you through life's challenges with clarity and purpose. It's about living intentionally, not just existing, and this intentional living is where you find the essence of Stoicism. A life lived with purpose, wisdom, and inner peace in starting up. This way of thinking asks us to take a moment to think about why we are separating ourselves from others, to have an open conversation, to control our emotional responses, to think about the results of our actions, to disconnect from outside influences like social media, and focus on our basic needs. These are all things that are in line with the Stoic virtues. Stoicism's timeless wisdom teaches us that detachment is not the same as emotional numbness, but rather the attainment of a serene and resilient inner state. As we navigate the complexities of human relationships and the trials of existence, the tenets of Stoicism serve as a beacon of inspiration, guiding us toward a life full of virtue, wisdom, and emotional fortitude. Step number 8, separation. This return is about more than just distance. It's also about how you feel and what you think. When our feelings get in the way of our judgment, stepping back lets us enjoy them like a spectator watches clouds move across the sky, knowing that they are not us. This detachment is not the same as indifference. It's a way of looking at things and our responses without bias, like we're looking at the whole chessboard and not just the piece we're holding. The Stoics said that people should live alone in a village in the country, but these days it's not necessary. Sometimes it's enough to just quiet your phone, go for a walk, or sit in a room. The most important thing is to find a place where the constant noise of everyday life doesn't drown out your ideas and feelings. Sometimes when we're alone and quiet, we can make choices based on reason, deep thought, and our own inner wisdom, rather than our fleeting emotions. This backstep is your power tool. Get into a place where you can breathe easily and see past the fog of the present. The second step in detachment is to think about why you need space in a logical way. To cut ties with someone is not a hasty choice, but the result of careful thought, which is a sign of Stoicism's wisdom and virtue. Thought experiment. Picture your life as a boat trip and the people in it as winds and currents. Some of these will help you sail smoothly, while others could send you into rough water. It is very important for the captain of this ship to know which winds to favor and which storms to avoid. This choice is not an escape. It is a conscious change in the direction of your life that is in line with your ideals and well-being. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who rose from being a slave to becoming a wise man, said that it is important to choose relationships that are in line with who we are. When you look at your relationships as windows, you can see what they show you: peace, growth, and understanding, or doubt, discomfort, and stress. Deciding to be detached is not the same as giving up something. It's a choice you make to protect your own morals and ethics. Stoicism doesn't promote a cold reasoning. Instead, it promotes wisdom that makes us think about what people bring to our lives, harmony or dissonance. Epictetus said, "We are not disturbed by what happens, but by our thoughts about what happens." This quote should help you as you think about this choice. Distancing yourself from someone. From someone isn't just about the person, but also about how you see them affecting your life. They might show an exciting new part of your growth or a side note that takes you off track. In the end, choosing to be apart is a way to make your life a story you are proud of. It's a commitment to fidelity to oneself, to your values, and to your journey.